Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video today we're going to be looking at the naughshark NS68, which is a 68% Hall effect keyboard. So in this video we're going to be unboxing it, seeing what features this thing has, and then we'll go and test it in a game and see how responsive and how good this keyboard feels. So obviously this is a packaging for the keyboard, and the first thing I'll say is I really like the design of the box. Obviously you've got a bluish kind of theme to it with the sea and a shark there as well. It's got really nice colours and just graphics on it overall. Now it did come in an external box as always, and it did actually have bubble wrap around this and then in another box, so it was really well packaged. So let's open the box and see what's inside. So we have got a nice white keyboard, which I do prefer the aesthetic of. Before we get carried away, let's have a look what's actually inside of the box. So pretty basic accessories. You have a manual here. You have a USB Type-C cable to connect it. And you do have this little thing that can attach, just like the Wooting and all them have. And I quite like the design of this, the blue colour scheme. So overall pretty basic accessories, but everything that you would normally need. And like I said, this is a 68% keyboard, so you do have the arrow keys as well. So 68% keyboards are quite popular because obviously you don't sacrifice every single additional key. And this is what the back looks like as well. You have a little logo there, naughshark. That is like aluminium or something. And you do have two flip up feet as well, which I do like this on a keyboard. They've only got one height setting, but they have got these rubber bits on the end which will prevent it from sliding round. Obviously we are on a wooden top here, so it will move, but on a mouse pad these bits will grip on quite nicely. Overall, my first impressions is it looks pretty nice. Obviously it's just got that standard Wooting look, that Hall effect keyboard look, but it looks really nice. I do like the little logo on the bottom here. So let's talk about some of the details and the specifications of this keyboard. So this is an 8000 Hz polling rate keyboard, and you do have the option of getting a tri-mode keyboard as well. Obviously that will cost a little bit more, but if you do want to use a wireless keyboard or use it with Bluetooth, they do have a version which is tri-mode, so you have the option to be wired, Bluetooth, or through a wireless dongle. And of course, it being a Hall effect keyboard, we have adjustable actuation, which for any of you guys that don't understand what that is, pretty much what that means is you can adjust the sensitivity of the keys. A lot of the most popular keyboards have this, the Wooting has it. So that's obviously something that a lot of gamers are looking for. They're looking for a keyboard that's very responsive, but can be adjusted per key. So that way, if there's certain keys you don't want being extremely sensitive, you can adjust them and just have your main binds at a lower actuation. And the actuation range on this keyboard is all the way from 0.01mm up to 3.7mm, which seems to be the standard kind of range. Now this keyboard is actually hot swappable, and what it says on their website is it's hot swappable with N pole switches, magnetic switches, which I think mean North Pole switches. You guys can correct me if you know different, but the one thing I will say about this keyboard is the price is actually really good. On their website currently for me it's £31, and with shipping that's only £3 extra, so £34 for an 8K polling rate Hall effect keyboard that honestly looks really good. And obviously, like I said, it's connected via USB-C, so which is in the center as well, and it is compatible with Mac and Windows. And the layout of the keyboard is ANSI layout. So as well as being an adjustable actuation keyboard, it obviously has rapid trigger with a 0.01mm responsiveness. So this should be really fast. And honestly, if it's really fast and for the price that this keyboard is, it could make a great option. Now I've never really heard of naughshark, but I have heard of Gamakay because that's who this keyboard is also by. It's naughshark x Gamakay. So I have heard of them before, I believe, but I haven't heard of naughshark, but they were kind enough to send this out for review. I will just plug it in so you guys can see what the RGB looks like as well. So this is how the keyboard looks once it's all plugged in. The first thing I'll say is the RGB is quite vibrant and colourful, which is always a nice feature to have. Some keyboards don't have that very good RGB, especially when they're on the budget end, but this will look really nice once you've set it up to the colour that you want, and especially with the shine through PBT keycaps, it will make it look good and you'll still be able to see all the keys very easily. So there's the sound test for the keyboard, and honestly I think it sounds pretty good for the price. The other thing to note is because it's hot swappable, you're easily able to put other switches in that may suit your need better or may just sound better overall. But overall, for the stock switches, it sounds really good. And the switches that are in here are called Otomu Peach magnetic switches, and these are the switches that it comes with out the box. This is the same switches that are used in the tri-mode keyboard as well. Alright guys, so now for the software. If you just type in NaughShark N68, the first link will be the link to the keyboard. Now there will be a link in the description, but if you just scroll down from here, you can go to software download. It does give you a prompt about the different keyboard versions and brushing the firmware. You've got to make sure you're selecting the right keyboard version, otherwise you could cause issues for the keyboard. And what you're going to do is click on Windows software for N68, and I've already downloaded it, so this is what the software will look like. And overall the software looks pretty good. Straight away the first thing is the keyboard settings. I did have to record this again because I had mic issues, but pretty much what you're able to do is come into here. If you select all, you'll be able to adjust the actuation of all the keys, but if you cancel selection, you can adjust them individually here. So like the spacebar, let's say that's for your jump and you don't want it to be too sensitive, you can move that further down to make it less responsive. There is an anti-accidental trigger mode, which it does say it basically just prevents it from activating the keys due to desktop shake or switch tolerance. So that is an option that you can have on, which I have enabled. And if you scroll down, you've got full travel continuous rapid trigger, which once again it's got a prompt telling you what it does, and I would probably put that as enabled for myself. And then you can adjust the actuation on that as well, 0.01 being the lowest and 2mm being the highest as well. And you have got a simulation test here as well, which is pretty handy if you don't know what actuation you want. If you see here, when I press the key, I'm able to see what the actuation actually is going to. So let's say for example I'm pressing it all the way to here and it feels pretty spot on. I could just set them all to 1, or if you'd like to press it all the way down, you can set it higher. But that's a good thing, you've got the simulation setting or test here, and if you press key test here, that way you can test that the keys are all working as well, and you've still got this thing going on the side. And then for the RGB section, the lighting section for the keyboard, you do have a lot of different lighting effects. I like to just keep mine as always on and select a nice vibrant colour. But overall the lighting settings are all pretty good as well. But overall there's a few things in here. You've obviously got your keyboard settings, which we went over, the light settings. You've got this more section where you can update the firmware version and the IoT version. And you have got here all your function keys, your macro settings, etc. But that's nothing I would normally mess around with. I would normally just adjust the actuation how I want, as well as changing the lighting. But this is a software and it isn't actually web-based. It's actually installed a software on my computer. But it seems to be pretty lightweight, not too confusing, and very easy for the consumer. Alright, so we've just hopped into some Fortnite now, and we're just in creative mode, just to see how it feels when we're building. And overall, it feels very responsive, as it should. And my hand position is a little bit different because of this like curved bit, this angled bit here, but that's only because I use this joystick here. Obviously I would be able to get used to this. It would just take a bit of time because my other keyboard base is different. But yeah, overall this keyboard feels pretty responsive. It feels fast, as it should anyway. And I definitely think this is a viable option for people that want a really fast keyboard, but don't obviously want to spend a lot either. So overall, for the feel and responsiveness, I would give it probably a 9 out of 10. But in terms of the keyboard's responsiveness and performance, it's exactly how you'd expect it to be. Very fast, very snappy and very responsive. So overall, my verdict for this keyboard is that it is a great option for under £40. Now there is a massive variety of different keyboards, especially Hall effect keyboards that you can choose from. But if you are on a tight budget and looking for an extremely fast keyboard for under £40, then this is a great option. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video and I'll see you all soon.